Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello-y, my name is Loey, and today we are taking a look at the top 100 scariest TikToks of 2023. This year was a great one for the scary side of TikTok. We got ghost encounters, we got creepy TikTok trends, phenomenal horror skits published by really incredible creators, and so much more. So today we're taking a look back at the haunted side of TikTok for 2023. Now this is a part one, part two will be out later this week. I know, I couldn't fit everything into one video. This editing process has been outrageous, let me just say. Watching hours and hours of my own content to pull my favorite scary videos for you. And I know these videos are gonna be really long. So today we're looking at the first 50 of my favorite and the scariest TikToks that I found this year. I won't take too much more of your time, but thank you very much for spending your year with me. Whether you've been watching me for 10 minutes or the 10 full years I've been on YouTube, I'm so thankful for your time and I'm so grateful to be able to grow and experience life along with all of you while talking about some spooky stuff that we stumble across along the way. Without any further ado, here's part one of my 100 scary TikToks. Enjoy! A woman late one night is watching her sister's son for her, so her nephew. As far as I know, the two women live in this house together, and we'll talk about the house itself later, but they are only really the second owners ever of this house. The original owners literally stayed there until they died. So keep that in mind. But one night, as this woman is watching her sister's kid, just filming him, saying it's SpongeBob night, you know, they're hanging out, they're watching SpongeBob, suddenly, the rocking chair behind the boy starts to move on its own.
SpongeBob night.
SpongeBob off.
Liam, come here. Liam, right now. What is happening? Okay, I'm calling your mom. Just stay right here.
Towards the end of this clip, you can even see that the chair has slowly turned itself towards the poster. After this, the poster has a follow-up for us. She has received an email from the granddaughter of the former owners of the house, and the granddaughter seems to think that the house was pretty weird when her grandparents lived there as well. The message reads, "When my brother Brad lived there, he had a house cleaner, and she was upstairs in that north bedroom, which was my grandma's, and she was vacuuming, cleaning the room, and the cord kept getting ripped out of the wall. Then there was a desk with a lamp on it, and apparently the lamp went up, turned upside down, landed, and did not break. The house cleaner also said that there was this horrible, horrible smell. Brad came home to find a note that she quit and said somebody does not want me in this house, and she wasn't coming back." So that's going to be a pretty unsettling piece of information to learn about your otherwise quite haunted home already. And it gets worse. Then the poster has a follow-up video that's like security footage from the house, in which she's just sitting on the couch with two kids hanging out, when suddenly we start to see things flying down the staircase behind her. It's just the three of them at the house, but that doesn't change the fact that somebody is at the top of the stairs, literally throwing stuff down. Lastly, from salt.sage, we have a piece of security camera footage that was taken in the middle of the night. The poster says that one night she was looking through the security camera footage. She woke up to find all of the cabinets in her house wide open, but her husband is a sleepwalker, sleep eater, so it wasn't that weird. She just wanted to see him doing it. And that's when she saw this. You can also hear a really loud buzzing noise throughout this clip, as though like an electronic device has suddenly turned on out of nowhere as all of the cabinets have like swung open. To me, because of like the insane activity around this house, this almost feels like a poltergeist or like a really, really dark prankster spirit. Either way, I don't think it's a particularly good sign when people in the house say that paranormal activity is followed by a really bad smell. This is the story of one of TikTok's most haunted houses and the bizarre happenings around Peach Assassin 99. The video that I want to start out with was posted in September of 2022 and currently sits at a whopping 5.3 million views. Now, in the caption of this TikTok, the poster, whose name is Lauren, says that she and her roommate's dogs suddenly began acting very strange. They were, to quote, super alert and protective out of nowhere. When she checked the security footage, this video is what she found. Around the time that the dog started barking, she noticed a shadowy figure pacing back and forth in her yard. After seeing this, I was of course intrigued and wanted to know how long this had been going on. And I think that potentially the first video with any reference to what was happening in her house with the weird activity that was going on was posted in 2020. So in my attempt to put together a timeline, I think it all kicks off with this one video from 2020 in which the poster finds an animal skull. Basically, she's talking about this tree in her yard, what she likes about it, when she notices a skull at the base of the tree.
So here's the tree. It's dead, but it's very pretty. And there's these weird things that are in it. I don't know what that's for. And it has crazy holes that I like. But here's the pretty red things. Flowers. No, they're leaves. Those are leaves. Oh. I like you. What is that?
It would be nearly a full year later, however, that the poster would even begin to talk about the haunting. The first moment that she knew something wasn't quite right was when her landlord sent her a photo of some windows that had been replaced in her home. The poster was just looking over this image when she notices something strange.
So my landlord sends me this picture because she's trying to take pictures of the new windows that got replaced. And she says, WTF is in the left window next to the chimney. I don't own any dolls. I have a cat, but it's a kitten. I try to recreate it to see if I can somehow make myself feel better. There's scratches on the windowsill for some reason. I'm in the same spot that she was when she took the picture, and I can't figure it out. I hate dolls. I don't own them. I'm terrified. I live by myself, and I don't know what to do.
It looks like someone, or more specifically, a small child, is sitting near one of the windows of the house. The poster claimed that at this time she lived alone and had no dolls. Shortly after this, however, she caught something even more unsettling on camera. One day, as Lauren is sitting on her couch just watching New Girl, a stack of books falls. Now, I'm gonna play you the clip, and I know that these are books because of the next TikTok, but you can literally hear as she's watching TV at one specific moment, something goes crashing to the floor. So pay really, really close attention to the audio in this video. It's right around the point where one of the actors says 19 minutes that the books fell. And in the next video, the poster shows what books tumble down from the bookshelf.
So I'm trying to be as calm as possible with all this stuff that is going on in my house. The books fell from that shelf. Thank you, Turtle. These are the books that fell, which is fine. Ignore my nails. I dyed someone's hair. This was one. The other. This one wouldn't be so bad if what was said on the TV as soon as the books fell, right after. What the
One of those books is one with the startling name 19 Minutes, which sent chills down my spine. I thought that was so creepy. Let's dive into exactly what Not Your Normal Kids Show is. We open up on episode 1, which was dropped somewhat unceremoniously, as far as I can tell at least, on BeeVeekee's TikTok account back in May of this year. We meet our main character, an unnamed but very cheery girl in kind of like white clown face makeup, a polka dot dress, some red accessories, a matching beret, the gloves. She's a fashion icon, may I just say. And this is not your normal kids show, FYI. While our main character speaks to us in this cheery, upbeat voice and is always smiling at us, you always get this sense that something's not quite right. Shortly after being introduced, we hear a ringing telephone, and that's when we meet our second character of this episode, Tall Man.
Thank you, Tall Man.
You did it. Closed the curtains completely. Why don't you open the door? Open the door.
Oops, wrong number. But remember,
Don't open the door for strangers.
So that was a pretty quick departure from mildly creepy into sheer nightmare fuel territory, right? But it gets so much weirder than that. I want to point out that something that I think is really interesting here is that the main character's eyes seem to flash to this white color. At first, I really thought to emphasize the horror that is happening on screen. But sometimes I wonder if it's her way of emoting to us, because as you'll see, the further we go, she never breaks her smile. And I believe her eyes might be going white like that to warn us that there is danger, that something isn't quite right. And you'll see what I mean as we go on. Our girl's tummy has the rumblies. She's feeling hungry. She's feeling peckish. So she heads to the kitchen for some girl dinner in the form of grapes that also keeps switching back and forth from grapes into cockroaches. So that's pretty tasty. And of course, right as she pops one into her mouth stretches open in this horrific way. And the video ends after this with the main character telling us that if we see Tall Man, to please contact her. It would appear the Tall Man went missing right after this video. It seems like he literally was there for the phone call and then vanished.
thank you everyone for tuning into our show. We hope you've had a lot of fun and learned some new things.
After that, we see that there's a phone in an actual room playing this video. When BeeVeekee, the poster herself, notices Not Your Normal Kids Show playing on her phone, she looks like confused, like she's not quite sure how it got there. But still, she's jamming out to music, she's hanging out, and suddenly somebody slips a note through her door. Then there's a knock, and she gets up to investigate. The tall man, his face just cropped out of view, is standing right outside her window. She runs to hide, but there's no use. The tall man is already inside. The video ends with a statement to us: let the tall man in. Episode 7, captioned, "I've missed you," opens a bit differently from the rest.
You're not supposed to be here.
We cut to our usual Not Your Normal Kids show intro here, and the episode finally begins. It glitches for a moment, and the words "find the truth" can be seen hidden on screen.
I'm so glad to see you again. Oh my, what happened to you? It looks like you've seen a ghost. Did you have a bad dream? Do you know how to get rid of bad dreams? First, you find a sink. Then, whisper your dream into running water. All done. Remember, dreams can't hurt you. Unless you let them.
As Dottie whispers her bad dream into the sink, we can see what looks like a chunk of black hair like crawling into the pipes. It's very creepy. It doesn't feel so much like a healthy coping method when she does it, but rather an attempt to spread her bad dream, as though it's like an infection that she can inflict onto others. As Dottie says that she should clean her room now, we hear a knock at the door, the same one that we saw in the intro of the video.
I promised I would clean my room today. It's important to keep your space cleanly, so... Have you ever known you were better than the world let you believe?
Dottie's eyes go white. Her smile drops for the first time since we started this series. And she asks a simple question. Have you ever known that you were better than the world let you believe? Then the screen glitches and we see the word manipulator flash for like half a second. Like I said earlier, Dottie's eyes going white, and this is just my theory, there's like no confirmation of this, but it's just the thing that I've picked up on in this series. Her eyes going white really seem to be the main way that she has showed emotion so far into the series. So it's interesting to me that the eyes go white in the same way that we've seen them go white before. And then when her smile finally drops, when she finally shows an emotion that's not this forced, like happy persona, the eyes are completely whited out. I'm taking that as confirmation, baby. And I think that it's important if you're sitting there and you're like, why does this matter so much? I think it's important to know what Dottie is thinking, because we're constantly getting these like phrases on screen, these glitches, which we'll talk more about later, like manipulator. She'll say something and somebody is calling her a manipulator, a liar. They're saying that she's not telling the truth. Dottie ends the episode by saying that episode 8 of Not Your Normal Kids Show will be a Q&A. We have a story from the poster its.mutt, who talks about a Macy's in Chicago that she has genuinely one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard about a glitch in the Matrix, like ever, about this one department store in particular.
Wondering if anyone else that lives in Chicago or has been in Chicago ever and has been to this building gets the same weird vibes from it, but the Marshall Fields Macy's, like, you know, the one that's a Macy's now on State Street that used to be Marshall Fields, like the building itself is like super old, it's pretty cool inside, you know, well, it's just a neat building, but I never want to go back, it gives me weird vibes. And specifically, there's this thing that happened to me once while I was there that just gave me the weirdest vibes, and I want to know if anyone else has had like any sort of similar experience or if I'm just like crazy. So we'll set the scene. I go in, and I'm looking for, like, something specific. I think it was, like, a top. And I ask, what floor is XYZ item on? They say the 5th floor. So I take a bunch of escalators up to the 5th floor. And I remember, because I consciously had to look for the escalators going up to each respective floor. I get there, I didn't find what I need. So I'm like, okay, time to take the escalators back down. And I walk, and I walk, and I walk on this floor, and I can't find an escalator. Look, I can find up escalators. I can't find any down escalators. So I walk and I walk and I walk and I walk. And I still am not finding them. And I'm walking through all these departments that, like, I had not walked through before. But I don't take any stairs up or down. I don't take any escalators up or down. And this becomes important later. So it feels like I've been walking for, like, ever now. And I'm seeing weird parts of the store that, like, I didn't remember walking through. Like, I walked through, like, a bedding section. I walked through, like, some toys. I walked through like an empty, looks like it was like a chocolate shop is the best way I can describe it. finally, I'm getting, like, fed up, so I walk up to the nearest person in desperation, and I'm like, do you know where the down escalator is? And he looks at me and he's like, you're in the basement. And he starts laughing, so I kind of thought, okay, this guy's, like, messing with me or something, 'cause he was, like, with one of his guy friends. So I walked over to a person that's, like, clearly staff, like, I think they were janitorial staff, and they're about to step into an elevator, and I'm like, what floor are we on? And they're like, we're in the basement. So somehow, I come into the Marshall Fields Macy's. I consciously remember searching for and taking a bunch of escalators to the 5th floor, and then with no memory of going down through, like, stairs, escalator, elevator, anything, I end up in the basement. So 1st floor, 5th floor, basement.
So apparently on her trip to Macy's, this poster goes all the way up to the 5th floor, only to not be able to find an escalator back down. She doesn't take an escalator back down, she's still on the 5th floor. When she finally finds people, they tell her, hey, you're in the basement of this Macy's. But she never went back downstairs. Somehow taking escalators all the way up to the 5th floor equated to her ending up in a basement, which makes literally no sense and gives a lot of context as to, like, why she's so freaked out by this place. Then the next video comes from ashleyhawn, who I have to recommend to you guys if you like Glitch in the Matrix content. She has this whole series where she will read posts from the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit, and these stories are wild, and this was just the one that, like, I was texting everyone about this. I was texting Eleanor. Eleanor's on a plane to come stay at my house, like, tonight, and I texted her while she was on the plane, and I was like, you literally have to watch this video. According to the title, the poster and their friend were in a car crash, and they died in that car crash, only to respawn back where they first started off on a strange journey. Warning, there is talk of a car crash in this. The poster and his friend end up unharmed at the end of the video, but I just wanted to say.
Welcome back. This is part, I think, 5 of Glitch in the Matrix stories. This one's called My Friend and I Died in a Car Crash, Then We Respawned/Reset.
I think I may have shared this already, but I need to go into more detail with what happened. About 6 to 8 years ago, my friend Giovanni and I left the house to go get some late night McDonald's, you know, just as young fellas do at 2 a.m. after a night of partying, etc. We got into his white Mustang, left the neighborhood, and began driving to one of those main roads towards McDonald's, which was about 2 miles away. As we cross an intersection just about half a mile away from McDonald's, we get slammed by another car and thrown, and we proceed to roll. All I remember from the impact is that the car was speeding very fast, the impact was brutal, glass shards flew everywhere, and the sound of plastic and metal scraping the asphalt. We died upon impact, we were gone, then it all went black. I saw the car was annihilated. Looking at it from above, the scene was distressing. Then, just as soon as the scene played out our deaths, it abruptly ended, and we automatically went back to where we were both standing at the door, about to leave for McDonald's. I look over at Gio, and Gio is tearing up and shaking with his hand on the doorknob. I say, bro, what the was that? If we leave and go right now, we're gonna die in a car crash. All he replied with was something along the lines of, I know. Gio was shaking terribly, and I felt sick to my stomach. We had both just lived out our deaths. We both stepped away from the door and walked back to the family room and sat on the couch and didn't say a word to each other and just stared off into the distance. I had lived my death, and so did he. We both know it, and we both had no idea how to explain it. The best way I can explain it is it felt like a dream where it was one of those almost too real of a dreams. We assuredly left the house and almost made it to McDonald's, but we got hit at an intersection, then flashed back almost immediately to my house. If y'all have seen the episode of Rick and Morty where Morty gets a do-over control, it was exactly like that. It's like we experienced, then lived our deaths, then simply had a do-over and respawned 10 to 15 minutes earlier.
So thankfully, despite these memories of literally dying in a car crash, the poster and his friend suddenly come to and they're at the door. They both have memories of seeing their own deaths. They go inside and just sit there. And like, this couldn't be weird enough. I was reading comments on this video and the amount of people who were like, yep, same thing happened to me. Yeah, I experienced the same thing with my daughter. The amount of people who have experiences like this and still are expected to like get out of bed every single day and go to work and pretend like they didn't experience their own death, that is insane to me. I'm not strong enough for that, bestie. I am absolutely not strong enough for that. Stories like this do horrify me, but it also really does make me believe that there is like a higher power, which I believe anyway. I'm pretty spiritual, pretty witchy, but like, there are certain things that will happen where I'm like, there's just no way. There's just no way that there's not something controlling all of this. Like, how would these people have ever experienced this otherwise? That one really was creepy, but now we're gonna watch this from the Hall family 2018. And it says, caught this on my Ring camera last night.
Caught this on my Ring camera last night.
Oh, what was that? And why did it look like an entire oh, it's still going. Oh, it's still going. It really looked like a whole person flipped out of that hammock, like fell onto the ground and then just took off, and low-key got the zoomies. You can literally see rings of smoke, these puffs of smoke. It looks like something is flying away. Is there a logical explanation for that? What could that possibly have been? I like to think it's a ghost who's just utilizing the amenities that it has around it. Like, you know, it's living with all these people who can buy things like a hammock, and the ghost is like, well, if I'm stuck here, I might as well lounge around. Since we tan in the sun, ghosts probably get paler in the moonlight, so they're probably just laying out there like in little ghosty sunglasses like, yes, let me work on this beautiful astral sheen of mine. The next one is from veganrizz, and I've seen so many videos now from this account, so I have to know what this original one or one of the original ones was, because everybody was tagging me in this.
Something creepy happened when I got home. I
Okay.
was driving down the street, and my daughter's bedroom light is on. So I'm like, that's weird, because she's at her dad's house for a couple nights. She's not
Eerie.
home. So I parked my car right over here, and when I park my car, I see her bedroom curtains are also open.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Weird.
freaked out,
Yes.
right? And my doors were locked. But my house was built in like 1910. So I was like, I hope it's a ghost and someone didn't, you know, break in or something. So I have to actually go in my house right now, and I'm recording it because I'm scared.
I get it, man. Honestly, the horrors of living alone, or the horrors of having the house to yourself when you're like kind of creeped out like that, it's just unfathomable. I totally understand. I have to live it every single day. It's the worst.
All right, so here we go. I'm like shaking right now. Like my hormones are, like my adrenaline is going again. Like I have to go up my creepy dark stairs. None of the lights are on upstairs. This is not fun. And you know I've been hearing weird shit in the attic, bro.
Oh no. Oh my god, it's so dark. Just turn on some lights, turn on some lights, turn on some lights, I'm begging.
That's her room.
Oh, that looks terrifying.
Turn the light on. I don't know which way I should point the camera. Bro, I'm freaked out. I'm gonna go in my bedroom first. Turning the light on.
Okay.
Ah,
What are we looking like?
why isn't it turning on? Okay.
We're good. Slay.
Scary. Dude, I don't want to go in there.
It is so weird, but hopefully it was just left on
It's like normal in here.
earlier.
But her painting fell.
Oh,
This painting she made was hanging on the wall and that fell.
weird.
Her chair that belongs to her desk is here. I'm gonna look in her closet.
Ew. That's some crazy wallpaper.
Everything's normal. I'm gonna shut her light off. Like the LED lights are on in my other daughter's room, and those always go on. Dude, it was creepy. I'm looking behind the shower curtain. Ah! Nothing there.
Nothing throughout the house.
Weird.
Okay. Yeah, creepy.
Like that light was off last night. I was here in my house sleeping. I hate when that light is on because if I close my door and the light is on, it shines through this crack.
Yeah, I get.
It's gotta
Yeah,
be a fucking ghost.
It's
like my house was
really-
built in like 1906, not 1910, 1906.
I completely understand that. When a light comes on that you know shouldn't be on, that's honestly such a scary feeling. I just had that happen to me recently. Okay, so when I got off of stream this past Sunday, I had played Outlast with a friend of mine, and then when I got off, another friend of mine FaceTimed me just to be like, how was the game? Like, whatever. And I'm talking to this friend of mine, and I end up like going into my room, and I'm like, oh, actually, I should go let the cats out of their bedroom. The third bedroom of my house is entirely my cat's bedroom. I do use it for other things, but for the most part, it has like their toys, their cat trees, their food, their litter, like it has everything in there in a place where my dogs can't get to it. It's like behind a baby gate, whatever. And I close them in there when I stream because they like will walk all over my keyboard and it becomes a whole mess. So I tell my friend on the phone, I'm like, I'm gonna go let out the cats. So I take him on FaceTime with me and I go to the room of my house where I know I put my cats in and the door is open and the light is still off. That's what's weird. If I had gone in there, it was now like kind of dark outside. So I would have turned the light on. You know what I mean? It was really, really weird because I told him on the phone, I was like, you didn't see me go to that room and open the door. And he's like, no, you never went to the room and opened the door. But my cats, like basically the door had just opened. Like they were just coming out of their room, just waking up from like the nap or whatever that they had taken. And it was so freaking weird. But I do have a ghost named Paul. He's a house ghost. He takes care of the house. And he's honestly just really nice. I think he was probably just helping me out and letting the kitties out for me. Isn't that creepy though? I feel like I should do another paranormal update. What do you think? Moving on to our next TikTok, we have one from cvnela, who is one of my absolute favorite horror creators on TikTok. She's seriously so underrated and she streams all the time on Twitch and just talks about the most interesting, scary stuff that nobody else does. So again, I'll have everyone listed down below, but cvnela is one of my absolute faves. The TikTok is in Spanish but has English subtitles. And essentially, it's this guy who works in what looks like a fulfillment warehouse. There's like pallets everywhere and just like merchandise, like stuff wrapped up in these pallets, right? He works in this warehouse. And he says he's working entirely alone. So imagine his horror and shock when he sees the reflection of a person in the plastic wrapping one of the pallets.
Can I show you a scary video?
No, because I'm actually terrified. This video is so creepy. And I'm surprised that not a lot of people are talking about this video. This video was posted by user Juan Ryder, and as you can see, the videos are going viral. It was posted on February 16th. In the video, Juan claims to be working alone at work when suddenly he sees this. Pay close attention to this area.
Quiero que chequen algo en esa tarima de ahí. Eso. Y chequen, estoy yo solo. Mira, ni de este lado, ni para acá.
Now, after he has this sighting, the rest of the video is him walking through the warehouse, seeing if he can catch a glimpse of somebody, but he never does. Once again, he was entirely alone. How did that reflection appear if no one else was in the room with him? Seems paranormal to me, baby, and I'm just gonna walk right on out of that warehouse. Please quit your job. Maybe burn the whole building with fire. I don't know. That was a joke. That was a joke. It could, of course, be a trick of the light or a misunderstanding, but it looks like a person. Next up, we have a video talking a bit. Ew, I really hate that my Alexa in the bathroom just went off when I'm talking about a ghost. Ah! Okay, so next up on our list, we are talking about the Serbian dancing lady. So many of you have told me to talk about this, asked me if I've heard of it. And honestly, I could do a whole video on the Serbian dancing lady. I thought about kind of like explaining it further in detail in this video, but it's sort of just a long story. So let me know if you want a full like video or a terror time on that down below. However, the Serbian dancing lady has gone incredibly viral on TikTok for terrifying reasons. It's claimed that this lady, dubbed the Serbian dancing lady, she's always in like traditional clothing, can be seen dancing when one is out walking late at night. And if you interrupt her dancing, she will attack you, as you can see in this video.
There is a woman in Serbia known as the Serbian dancing lady. She's been seen and caught on camera multiple times doing this dance. She's been seen in different locations, but only late at night. If you disturb her dance, she will chase you down.
Jeste dobro.
The Serbian news have also covered a piece on this very strange story, and no one knows who this person is till this day. However, if you see the Serbian dancing lady, run.
Now, the original video that kind of set off this whole rumor, I guess, or trend or urban legend is from 2019 and is pretty creepy. So again, if you want an entire explanation on the Serbian lady, let me know and we can do that next. Next up is probably my favorite TikTok we're talking about today, and it comes from the user Emily with an E. I cannot emphasize enough that Emily is not like a paranormal creator. She's not a scary content creator. She doesn't talk about ghosts. She just talks about her life and things she likes, and she's a pretty big TikToker. So imagine her surprise, as well as her entire audience's when she would inevitably post this, when one day she is home alone and she can hear a door downstairs opening and closing on its own.
I am home alone and doors keep opening and closing, and I feel like you can probably hear it because it keeps happening, and I don't know what it is, and I'm scared to check it out. Holy I promise I am not joking around with y'all. Like, y'all can even see, like, I'm sitting at the stairs of my room because I don't even have a door. It sounds like it's one of the second floor doors, like, opening and closing. I don't know what it is. No windows were open, so it's not like there's a breeze coming in or anything. But, like, I promise y'all, I'm not fucking around with y'all. Like, I don't know what to do right now. I just called my sister, I just called everybody, and nobody's home. It's literally just me, and I don't understand what's happening. And I feel like I'm going to try to catch it on camera.
So Emily decides she's going to try to catch this noise on camera. She sets up shop in a bathroom and she catches something I know she wasn't expecting to.
Okay, also the thing, I'm going to put my camera here because I think it's this door. The thing that scares me is I recorded a video like... Oh my fucking God, no, that's not even funny, that's not even I don't know, I'm like frozen. I'm frozen. I don't want to check that. I know no one's in there. I know nobody is in there. I'm not even trying to be funny right now. I cannot believe I got that on camera. I'm sweating, bro. I don't know what the to do right now. I need to get, oh my fucking God.
Literally, as she started filming, the door behind her opens on its own. She's very clearly freaked out. I think her reaction makes this entire video. It's so obvious this girl was not expecting that to happen.
The thing that scares me is that a couple days ago, I just did a video where I asked you guys to like help me pick out an outfit, and I haven't posted it yet. And legit in that video, I heard the same thing, but I thought people were home. So I was like, oh, whatever. Like, it was probably my sister or something. But like, I cannot believe that just fucking happened. The thing too is like, I promise you nobody's in that room either. Nobody's in that room. I am here all alone. I'm about to go inside. Watch, I'm about to show you. I have to turn this light on though, because you got me all the way up if you think I'm gonna just walk into straight darkness. Okay, I'm about to go in. Watch. I'm scared. Oh, that scared the fuck out of me. Oh my God, nobody's, oh my God, I'm scared. Nobody is in here, y'all. Nobody is in here. Like, nobody is in here. What the?
She shows inside of the room from where the door opened. Of course, nobody is inside. And after this, she posts our next TikTok, which was a follow-up to this situation.
So everyone's been asking for an update and if I'm okay. I'm fine physically, but mentally, spiritually, they got me all the way up just because it wouldn't stop happening. I don't know. I felt like I couldn't update you because it just wouldn't stop happening.
In this, Emily says that the activity did in fact continue. She also expands a bit more on her paranormal experiences and talks about her home in a bit of depth.
We also did do like a cleanse of the house. We used the Palo Santo, all that fun shit. Yeah, it just wouldn't stop happening. I also did see in the comments people being like, oh my God, but maybe like her AC was causing the wind to go. I live in Jersey. I have no business turning on that AC. It is brick degrees outside. It is freezing. The last thing I'm gonna do is turn on an AC. This is not Miami. We are not having fun over here. It is freezing in this. But yeah, I don't know. It just keeps happening. I wouldn't be surprised if it kept happening. It probably will happen again sometime today. I guess I just have to live in fear, bitch. But it's okay, because I got these hands. Thanks for asking though.
I think Emily has really great content. I wound up sort of like binging her TikTok after this. And again, the fact that she doesn't make paranormal or scary content basically ever really makes me feel like this is a genuine experience. I mean, it's just so creepy that the minute she sits down in that area to see if she can like catch something on camera, see if she can catch something moving, that door opens on its own, just like she kept hearing. On December 28th, 2022, Wade would first upload a video talking about a bizarre experience he had had the night before. Well, I guess I should say it was like happening the night before, but he didn't really learn about it until the morning. See, it's just Wade and his daughter currently home while his wife is actually working in Colorado. And despite that, there's somehow a photo of him asleep from the night before on his phone.
So I think probably the creepiest thing that's ever happened to me just happened. When I woke up this morning, my phone said that my storage was full, so I went to my photos to delete some, and the very first one was a photo taken last night of me asleep in my bed. It was an overview photo. And the creepy part is I'm home alone with my 10-month-old daughter. My wife's been out of town in Colorado for a week. I live in Washington. There's no way that my 10-month-old could have taken the photo because she sleeps in a crib in one room over, and there's no way she could have crawled out of her crib, came into my room, got my phone, and then found a way to stand like 5 feet above my bed and take the picture. It's not possible. And even if she did, there would be a notification on the app for her camera. So I'm super freaked out right now. I feel like there's someone in my house. I feel like there's someone watching me, and I don't know what to do.
In this, of course, Wade explains that his wife is out of state at the moment, and his daughter is just a baby. So who took this photo of him? Well, in the next video, Wade actually shows the image and explains a bit more about his situation, as well as where he and his daughter are now.
At the end of this video, I'll add the photo for context to anyone that's seeing this and hasn't seen the first video. I'm home alone, just me and my daughter, and someone took a picture of me in my bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is super terrifying. Right now, I'm staying at a buddy's house. In his guest room. We're too spooked to stay at my house. It's just too creepy. Even though I did search the whole house, there's definitely no one there, and I made a police report. They didn't really seem super interested, but anyways, here's the photo. I made sure to screenshot it so you can see what time it was taken. It's at 2:34 in the morning. As you can see, there's no way that my daughter could have taken it, and there was no one else at my house. Yeah, the way that the photo looks is just super creepy, and it looks like someone was standing on my bed, which is also super creepy.
We can't see much in this photo, it's very dark, but we can see that the timestamp reads 2:34 a.m. and it does seem to like vaguely represent what looks to be someone laying down in a bed in the dark. It's also very clearly a top-down shot, like this was not an accidental selfie in the night, although I cannot even imagine how funny those would look. I'm actually really surprised I've never done that because I sleep with my phone in the bed all of the time and I'm constantly like waking up to it on top of my face somehow. Anyway, this is clearly not a photo that could have been accidentally taken. Someone or something is in Wade's house with him and his baby daughter, and that's a really concerning thought.
My wife, my daughter, dog, and I have all been staying in a hotel for the last 6 days because we don't feel like it's safe to go home. But at this point, I can't afford a hotel any longer, so I gotta go in my house for the first time after whatever happened there happened. Everybody in the comments told me to get a cat, so I temporarily stole my neighbor's cat, and yeah, hopefully she's gonna help me out. I just pulled in, so it's the moment of truth. I'm gonna go inside. That door just slammed. Man, I'm so freaked out right now. No, 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 no! Ah!
Despite someone repeatedly ringing the doorbell, Wade sees nobody, and yet something pins him to the ground. Now in the caption of this video it reads, "I will post how I escaped in my next couple videos. It's too traumatizing to edit and post all at once." In the next video, Wade comes to on the floor and slowly begins to make his way through the house. Wade locks himself in the bathroom, but of course, he isn't alone. Something is clawing and making noise at the door, repeatedly fumbling with the doorknob, until eventually the door opens and the video cuts out. The bathroom door is wide open in the next video, and Wade sees what appears to be a hooded figure walk past. Objects have clearly begun moving in the house on their own, but that isn't nearly as startling as when Wade literally sees somebody standing in the shower, only to check it, find no one, but there is a knife on the shower floor. As he bends down to pick up the knife, we hear literal growling noises. He pans up and the video cuts out. And this one is captioned, "This was the last video on his phone." So I guess that one video where he captioned it, "I'll show you how I made it out, like it's too traumatizing to edit and post all at once," was somewhat misleading, as now he is gone and this is just the last video that was on his phone. It would seem that Wade did not make it out at all. And this is where the story ends. The next video is from lightssirensaction. Our poster works as a paramedic, and on this day in this story, she had been called to the home of a 45-year-old woman who had started experiencing seizures. However, when she and her fellow paramedics get there, law enforcement is acting kind of weird about this. They're a little jumpy. They're basically saying, "Hey, if you don't need this, we're gonna leave, like we're gonna go." And she just gets a weird feeling. So she tells them, no, you stick around. I have a strange feeling about this one. And I don't think she could have known what she was about to walk into, but my God, was it unsettling to say the least.
And when my partners and I walked into the living room of this home, there was a patient laying on the floor and her body was contorted into a way that was just simply not human. Standing next to this patient, dressed in a full suit and tie at midnight or 1 a.m. in the morning, was her husband, and he told me in Spanish that his wife had began seizing when they were laying in bed watching TV, and at the time I didn't put all of the clues together. I just thought that it was a bit strange he was wearing a full suit and tie. I didn't think about the fact that she wasn't in her bed where he said that the seizing began, but the patient was still laying on the floor, so I told the patient's husband that I would evaluate her and see if she wanted to go to the hospital, and he said it doesn't matter what she wants, she has to go to the hospital. I thought that was a bit strange, so I said okay. I crouched down and I wanted to ask the patient questions. When I crouched down, she turned and contorted her body towards me in another position that did not look human and began to growl.
This is around the time that our poster really started to take note of the room around her. She noticed that the furniture had been pushed up against the walls, that there was a Bible on the floor next to the patient having seizures, that the husband was in a full suit and tie. At this point, the poster knows that she has walked into an exorcism, or at least the aftershocks of an exorcism, and clearly one that did not go particularly well.
So throughout our interaction, the patient is growling, hissing, at one point becomes combative. So I asked one of my partners to go get the box that holds the controlled substances so that we could sedate this patient. And while my partner goes to do that, I'm sitting by the patient and she begins to chant. Yes, I said chant. And I don't recognize the language that she is chanting in. I speak English and Spanish, and it is neither one of those. So I asked her husband, who also speaks Spanish, in Spanish, what is she speaking? And he said, I think Italian. And I said, does she speak Italian? And he said, no. And I said, why would she speak Italian then? And he said, I don't know. And I didn't know either. And I'm pretty sure she was chanting in Latin. So we end up sedating this patient, and no one wanted to help us get this patient onto the gurney because, I mean, we actually didn't even want to touch this patient either, so I didn't blame them at all. And then we go en route to the hospital, and while en route, the patient is unconscious, but I kept feeling like she could wake up at any moment. And for obvious reasons, we didn't want to sit next to this patient, so we were standing behind her, monitoring her, and I told my partner, I'm really sorry if you've lost all respect for me because I don't want to sit next to her. And she said, what are you talking about? I don't want to sit next to her either. And she said, oh my gosh, Stacy, don't look. And to which I looked. And when I looked at my patient, she had placed her fingers on top of her head like this and was looking at us and going like that.
This entire experience sounds like a nightmare. When the patient was chanting, apparently she was chanting in a mixture of like Spanish and a language that the poster couldn't understand. She also talked to the poster about wanting to take her children to a bloody river. And the thing with her hand and oh my God, I can't even do it. Like, just truly, truly the stuff nightmares are made of.
As the patient chanted, she went in between a language that I didn't know and Spanish, and she talked about taking her children to a bloody river. And I've never been so happy to arrive at the hospital and drop a patient off. And we went back to the station, and I slept with the lights on all night long. And yeah, that's really crazy about the pesto, Susie. Crazy.
I totally think that this poster walked into exactly what she thinks she walked into. I literally think this was an exorcism gone bad. And then, of course, law enforcement was called and paramedics were called, and I have no idea whatever happened to that woman, but I hope that it was all resolved and nobody else got scarred from this situation like our poster did. But my God, what an incredible story. This all starts one day when TikTokers itskrisstar and KelsiiDaviess go thrift shopping. Both of these women are in the paranormal space online and are both mutuals of mine. Chris actually runs a really cool crystal shop and also is hyper spiritual and talks about spirituality online. And then Kelsey is a medium who also has 2 haunted dolls that she regularly talks about on her account. So one day, as they're hanging out together, Chris and Kelsey go to this antique mall here in Los Angeles. And Kelsey was documenting various items and things that she sort of picked up energy from and just noticed a weird vibe about throughout the shop. They literally have themselves meeting the haunted doll on camera for the first time.
What I felt in this haunted antique store. I saw the ghost of an older man standing by these shelves. He was looking at one of these objects. This painting was a bit unsettling to me. This guy was kind of cute. No one has bought the one that I felt a spirit of a sad man with. This room made me feel like someone was staring at me. Creepy. Chris wandered off, but I found her. Then we came across this super creepy object. We both had a hard time breathing being near it. Then both of our phones started glitching. It felt hot when I picked it up. Then I got a sharp pain in my left arm. This crazy bitch bought it. We will keep you updated.
The doll makes it back with them, and Chris posts this very first video about the doll, in which they use various ghost hunting devices to communicate with the doll, kind of affirm that, you know, there's some kind of attachment, as well as talk about what has happened so far.
Today we went to an antique store and we found this weird, creepy, voodoo-looking doll that we were both drawn to. We have not taken it out of the packaging yet because we don't know if that's a good idea, but we are getting really bad vibes from it. We brought it back to Kelsey's apartment. It fell off the freaking counter and the EMF meter is going off. Both of our phones
As we're talking about opening it,
both of our phones are in airplane mode. We're gonna do a spirit box session and see what exactly is attached to Voodoo Man over here, but let us know your comments down below. He is going outside on the balcony, like he is not staying in here tonight. We're scared to take him out of the packaging.
he said rude. It goes rude.
Who is attached to this man? I heard a name. Can you tell us your name if you even have one? Oh my god, wait, I can't breathe again.
My back, my entire back is just in pain.
I'm really hot. Can you hold him? I'm actually getting really uncomfortable. When we were in the store, what was that big bang?
That was the stairs.
Kelsey asked if we should be scared and the EMF meter spiked.
Dude, my left arm's hurting again.
Maybe the way he died, he had an issue breathing. I thought I just heard, I want to kill you, but I'm just gonna
I know, that's what I heard too. Something.
I'm gonna ignore that.
Why are you making us feel sick? I keep getting whiff of like an egg smell.
Sulfur smells are usually something
like it smells
demonic.
bad.
I don't know why we were so drawn to this, but when I first saw it, I thought it was a voodoo doll. And it's actually just an acupuncture man, some sort of like vintage acupuncture doll.
I think it was used for other things.
Some of the things happening around the doll include, but certainly do not seem limited to, the doll flying off of a counter by itself, doors closing on their own and locking themselves from the other side, causing people in Kelsey's apartment, including Kelsey, like not to feel well, to feel weird. They keep catching this smell of sulfur, which usually in the paranormal world means that there's some kind of demonic entity present. So this is all happening, and Kelsey, this is Kelsey's apartment that Chris is hanging out at, and Kelsey's just like, this thing cannot sleep in my house, this thing cannot stay in here, I do not trust this thing. Chris agrees, so they put it out on the balcony for the night, but it couldn't just stay there indefinitely. There's been all of these crazy paranormal things happening around this doll, and Chris needs to go back to New Jersey. And so she makes the choice to put the doll inside of her storage unit.
Went to the store, I got a huge thing of salt. All right, here we go, guys. It is so creepy in here. Here we are. It's a little bit of a mess, so I don't know where he's gonna go, but we gotta find him a place. I cleared a space in here, but this keeps going off. Like, look at this. I'm using natural sea salt. I'm gonna put a ring of salt around him, and then I'm going to bind him to this circle. It's so important that we make sure that the entities are binded to this salt circle so that he cannot with anybody else, if you know what I mean. So we're gonna do double salt, and we needed a little extra. Oh my god, ever since I put the salt around him, this is going crazy. Calling in my guides and my angels to help protect me against all evil and whatever evil entities may be attached to this doll. Please bind this entity or entities in this salt ring of protection, where he or she or whoever it is here to stay indefinitely. I surround myself with love and light and the protection of my guides and my angels. I am protected and nothing is to interfere with me. Okay, he is in. Let's get the out of here.
Once in the storage unit, the doll is enclosed in a circle of thick salt, and this is supposed to keep whatever is attached to the doll contained within that circle. But you can literally see the EMF reader start to go crazy when Chris pours this salt. Whatever is attached to the doll does not seem to like this. But there's a small detail in this video in which Chris puts the doll in the storage unit and creates a salt circle that you may have missed, but many other people on TikTok caught, which is that as the door was coming down to the storage unit, the rope that you could use to like obviously grab the door when it's really high up, cut into the salt circle, breaking it. And one day Chris gets the most disturbing phone call.
Guys, my storage unit where I'm keeping my haunted doll just called me with noise complaints. I'm literally shaking. I'm about to call them back. You have to hear this.
I'm looking to speak with about the concern with your unit.
Intuitively, I've just been feeling really terrible about leaving it in my storage unit in California.
Hi, thanks for calling Life Storage. This is Veronica. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is... and I'm just returning your phone call.
And yes, a security guard heard scratching from inside your unit last night, and we have a very strict no live animal or food policy.
I'm definitely not storing any animals.
Okay, because this is just the second time the security guard has reported noises from inside your unit, and we just want to keep it as clean as possible so like the neighbors don't have to deal with like any rats or any bugs or anything. If you could possibly come and check in your unit as soon as possible, otherwise as per your contract we have the right to open your storage unit while you're not here to make sure that there's no animals in there.
Well, the problem is I'm in New Jersey. I'm not in California right now.
I can give you like 2 or 3 more days to have a friend or family member come check in the unit. Otherwise, we will have to open it ourselves.
Yeah, I just rather do it myself instead of having you guys go in there, so.
Scratching. Security guards have heard scratching from inside of her storage unit and believe she is storing an animal or something in there, or has food loose and there's rats and whatever. But she says there's no animals in there. There's nothing like that. The storage facility has offered Chris 2 options. One, she can check out the unit herself or have someone come to check it out for her. Just make sure there's no animals and confirm that. Or they will break the lock and enter her unit on their own. Chris doesn't want that, so she decides to mail the keys to her friend Kelsey and see if Kelsey will go into the unit and just see what's going on.
But the thing is, Chris is in New Jersey for a while, will not be back, and they need someone to go and check on it. Otherwise, they're gonna go open it themselves, and I really don't want that to happen. So Chris is gonna send me the keys, and I'm gonna go check on him and see what's going on. Guys, I'm scared. Stay tuned.
After Chris mails her the keys, Kelsey goes to the unit to go and check everything out. And that's when we see just how much the salt circle was really broken. Kelsey goes on to fix the salt circle, and in this clip she gives this entity very clear instructions saying you have to stay in the salt circle or else we have to go about getting rid of your doll. And there's a lot of kind of crazy stuff coming through on the spirit box. The other ghost hunting devices really just go off back to back. And I'm someone who's really familiar with these things. They don't just do that. There is very obviously something attached to this doll, and you kind of just have to hear it for yourself because it seems so aggressive and angry as Kelsey reseals the salt circle.
Let's ask if it was him scratching on the unit doors. That means it was? Oh, that was confirmation. Was it you scratching on the walls? Okay, well, you need to stop. Do you understand? Is there a reason you're doing that? Dude, this thing is so active. You need to stop making noise in here. Do you understand? Did the light just flicker? I swear I just saw the light flicker. I swear it just said Kelsey kill. Okay, you need to stay put. I'm going to redo the salt circle.
won't close. I'm calling out to the entity with this. You need to stay within the salt circle. You are out of the salt circle. We are going to have to do something to get rid of your doll. Do you understand? I'm asking the entity to stay within this circle. I'm going to open the salt circle so you can go in. I don't know how this works, but go in. All right, the entity needs to stay within the salt circle. You are not allowed to leave the circle. Now we gotta make sure the string does not break the salt circle this time.
Next up is from one of my favorite TikTokers, who is Morg. Morg lives in incredibly and notoriously haunted Appalachia and talks about her experiences on her TikTok account. This one in particular really crawled under my skin because she is talking about a painting that she purchased on like Facebook Marketplace that ended up being, of course, haunted.
A few years ago, I bought a painting off of Facebook Marketplace and it turned out to be extremely haunted. If you've been here for a while, you know all about Irene, but if you don't, here's the painting of little Irene. She is absolutely stunning and she is hanging in my dining room. So one day I was just scrolling Facebook Marketplace and I came across this painting of her, and I had never seen or heard anything about it, but I was drawn to this painting and I told my husband, I was like, we have to have this. I googled the phrase girl with red hair painting and immediately Irene pops up. Here's the official title. I feel like I'll butcher it, but this is the actual title of the painting. This was a commission piece for Pierre Auguste Renoir. It was commissioned by Irene's father. So things started going weird as soon as I brought it in the house. No matter what, no matter how stable we make this painting, it is always tilted. Not only that, but there were a few instances that this painting was right side up, like straight, which is not normal, and every other picture in our house was tilted. We started to notice too, if we had guests over and they didn't say hi to her or acknowledge her, their things would get moved around and they would have kind of weird experiences. One of the creepiest things she does, however, is her expression will change. And I've told her story on here before, and I had the same picture up here and it changed angles and her expression changed. It was while I was talking about her passing. Her expression changed from the normal way it is to a grimace. And I'm gonna insert it here, but it's really cool that I caught that on camera because it happens in person all the time. But let me just show you that clip. Okay, so here's like the regular way she normally looks. And then, see it? Hang on, I zoom in. Look at that, that's a scowl. That is a scowl.
The little Irene painting is so fascinating, and Morg's experiences are not isolated.
When I first initially told this story on here, I had a few people reach out to me, and someone found a copy of this painting in the walls of their home when they were remodeling, and when they took it out, a lot of poltergeist activity started. I'm not the only one that's had some weird occurrences with this painting.
I'm so curious about this painting and the story behind it, but for now, let's go on to the next TikTok. And it originally comes from the account wynnmcpics, although the one I'm about to show you was posted by Crazy Paranormal because they slow down the footage a bit, zoom some things in so you can get a better look at it all. Now, wynnmcpics has been experiencing a haunting since 2020. You've probably seen me put this guy's TikToks into one of these compilations before, but this one recently went viral. In it, we see that something in the basement is very hungry for attention.
The black I'm doing this all morning and I don't have time for this today. Stop. Hey buddy, I got too much going on. You gotta cut it out. Oh. Okay. I'm just gonna set it up, paper towels, and we'll just let the phone roll. I asked you if you gotta go or you gotta go downstairs or something. Wherever you're gonna go, you gotta go. Calm down. He's okay. Please, not today. He's okay. Please, not today. Just, holy cow. Little buddy. Little buddy.
When wynnmcpic refers to the shadow as little buddy, it basically like doubles in size, which cannot mean good things. Kind of like it was tricking him into thinking it was a kid the whole time. This is not the first time that this poster has seen a ghost child in their home. In this clip, when the lights go crazy, we can hear what sounds like a young child calling out to him just before he goes to investigate.
Yes? Hello? What is that? Who are you? I'm not gonna hurt you. Leave my lights alone.
So at this point, I'm looking through the wynnmcpics account and seeing what scary videos I had never found before. Because like I said, this has been going on for years. In this clip in particular, Wynn is coming down the stairs after he hears what sounds like somebody strumming his guitar.
It's starting again. What's going on again? Hello?
Even after that guitar is hidden away in the garage, we still hear the music. This is from kkorba on TikTok. Have you ever seen this trend before? It's like a sound from the Mandela catalog that says if you see someone who looks identical to you, run away and hide. Tons of creepy videos have come out of this, but this one has to be my favorite.
If you see another person that looks identical to you, run away and hide.
That is such nightmare fuel, and it's such a good video. It has like well over 20 million views now. I love that trend. So many good videos have come out of it, but Korba wins. The next video comes from Geeharper, who basically explains that they have started hearing what sounds like knocking beneath the floorboards of their home.
What the FXCK is under our floorboards?
There's something living our floorboards. Listen. I'm scared. Just one.
It's fucking knocking that, isn't it?
Yeah, what the f is that, babe? It's doing different amounts each time.
It's a proper hard knock. Like, I can feel it. It's like, it's not on the other side, there's like a few. It's like
Is it?
Underneath.
They might have a basement next door, will they?
In this video, we hear examples of something repeatedly knocking back when the poster and her partner knock on the floorboards of their home. And the knocks vary. Sometimes you'll hear 3, sometimes just 1, and they only ever really respond to the poster knocking in turn. So for the next video, I wanted to show another example of this, kind of a crazier example.
The knocking from under our floor is back at the same time as last night.
It's right there. Put your phone there. Pick it up, please.
Oh my.
It's so clean.
It's vibrating the floor.
It's not like it's on the other side of the wood. It feels like it's maybe half a foot underneath and they're tapping something that's like if there was a brick underneath, they're tapping the brick.
Once again, we hear these same knocking sounds from beneath the floorboards. And I have to imagine that this couple doesn't live in an apartment. Because if they did, of course, I don't think anyone would really be questioning this. There was like this one video where the poster puts her head against the floor to see if she can hear the knocking. And you see what looks like the front door of their home. And it definitely looks like a house front door, not an apartment front door. Like you can see light outside. But ultimately, the knocking only apparently responds when they knock. And that makes me think that it's something that has some sort of awareness about what it's doing. And then the next video is from horrorwithme, who has a great TikTok account documenting all sorts of spooky things from all over the internet. But this one in particular features a doll, a ventriloquist doll to be exact, who seemingly has a mind of its own.
This is a 1940s ventriloquist doll. It's from the World War II era, and it was captured on camera, moving on its own. So the story behind this is that the doll is actually owned by a collector named Michael Diamond. He's a Liverpool man and a father of 2. But he noticed that the latch on the glass case kept opening night after night, so what he did was he set up a camera, assuming that he was going to catch one of his children doing it, and this was the footage he captured.
Now in the footage, we see the glass slowly swing open, and as it does, the ventriloquist dummy's eyes kind of open ever so slightly and then close again later. This was a creepy video. And sometimes when I see stuff like this, I'm like, what would that doll do if it wasn't behind glass? Is the glass doing anything? Or is it just like for display purposes? Are we trying to contain the spirit? Because I don't think that the glass is doing anything. Anyway, it's fine. I just panicked for several minutes and then wondered if I should be putting any of my haunted dolls inside of glass and yada, yada, yada. Way too much caffeine today. Don't mind me. Our next video I thought about saving for last because it is my favorite story that has come out of this trend on TikTok. But I feel like I just need to show it to you now. It comes from psychicishpodcast on TikTok. And to me, this one sounds a bit like a glitch in the Matrix story. Our poster, who is named Lyd, had the following experience when she was just 21 years old, going to university in Wellington, New Zealand, and living all around a pretty normal life. It's a totally normal night, and she has just tucked herself into bed and drifted off to sleep. And she has a really vivid dream. She says not quite a lucid dream, but there was this sense of awareness where she knew that she was dreaming. And this is something that happens for her with dreams quite often. In the dream, she was pregnant. She could feel the baby kicking around in her body. She could literally see, of course, her stomach and her cute little bump, and she found herself getting really, really attached to this baby. Even though there wasn't like a physical baby there, she knew it was inside of her. And even though she was aware this was a dream, she kind of found herself starting to get attached to this baby. But what is she gonna do? It's a dream. And in the dream, the day gets later and later and later. And Lyd realizes like it's nighttime now in this dream, and she's gonna have to go to sleep in what she knows is a dream. And she's kind of confused. She's like, I can't really remember ever going to sleep in a dream before, but maybe this will be what gets me to wake up. The next morning, when Lyd wakes up, she is not back in her bed in Wellington, New Zealand. She is still in the dream.
So this cycle kind of repeats itself over the next few days. I kind of wait to go to sleep at night to hope that I'm going to wake up again, and I don't wake up. I'm still just in this dream.
Lyd is missing her family. She's missing her boyfriend. She's missing her life. She doesn't know when she's going to wake up from this dream that feels like it's been so long at this point. And then the unthinkable happens. she goes into labor.
I guess it's good to say that, like, in all the pregnancy dreams I've had before, I've never given birth in any of them. So this was kind of like the moment I was waiting for when all this was going on. I was like, okay, well, I've never actually given birth in a dream before. So when I'm giving birth, that's when I'll wake up. But did I? Nope. I was on the hospital bed. I started giving birth. I've also never felt pain in a dream, but I felt this. I felt every bit of the labor, and I gave birth to a baby boy. I named him. I did everything that a new mother would do, which is weird because how would I know what a mother would do? I'm not a mum myself yet. And every day I was still kind of hoping to wake up still, like it kind of just in this weird little space.
Lyd has just given birth to a baby in her dream, and it still wasn't enough to wake her up. She's starting to wonder at this point, am I ever gonna wake up? Am I ever gonna go back to like my actual reality in my life? It's around the time of her son's second birthday. Second birthday. He is 2 years old at this point, that Lyd finally accepts that she's not going to wake up.
It gets to my son's second birthday and I reach acceptance. I'm like, okay, I miss my family, but I have to accept I'm never going to see them again. This is my new life now. I have my son. This is my life. I watch him grow up. I watch him go to school for the first time. I watch him get his first crush, graduate, get married, have his own 2 kids. And then on the day of his 40th birthday, I throw him a surprise party. It's kind of weird to say there was never a father in the picture, like it was always just us 2. But I remember what it looked like. Like there was a picnic table outside, there were heaps of trees in our backyard. We lived in a double-story wooden terraced house, and we were singing him happy birthday, and I woke up. I was back in my bed in Wellington, no longer this like 6-year-old woman with a 40-year-old son. I was 21 in my bed, about to go to uni, like I was wanting to for what felt like 40 years spent in a dream. But as I lay there when I woke up, I was happy to be back, but I missed my son. And I cried, and I went through this grieving process for my son that I had raised for 40 years. And I couldn't tell anyone because I didn't want them to think I was crazy.
My heart was racing the entire time I listened to this story for the first time. I cannot even imagine the roller coaster of emotions that Lyd was feeling. This sounds like an episode of like Black Mirror or something. It reminded me a lot of the Reddit lamp story that we talked about in a Terror Time video previously here on YouTube, where a man realized after decades with his loving wife and children that a lamp in the corner of the room didn't look quite right, sending him back into his own reality where he had been knocked unconscious due to like an accident. Like he had dreamed his whole life and went through this crazy morning stage of feeling like he had lived this completely separate life that he could never go back to. That's what Lyd's story reminded me of. A lot of people think that this was a real event. They think that she hopped timelines for a sec, went off, did what she needed to do in a different reality, and then came back. Look, I have some crazy vivid dreams too, and sometimes I'll wake up from a dream a little confused. Like, was that real? Was that just a dream? But I've never had a dream like that. You let me know down below if you have and you feel comfortable sharing, but that would scare me half to death. I wouldn't even know how to act after an event like that. And what's crazy is it only took one night. Like she wasn't actually gone for decades. It was only one night where all of this stuff happened. Like that is just spooky. Very, very spooky. So we're moving on. Next up, we have a TikTok from the user creaturebeech. This poster, named Hannah, has had some pretty bizarre paranormal experiences that she's explaining in this video at the start.
What I'm about to tell you is not a story, and it's not a horror short film. This is actually happening. Lately, I've been seeing stuff, particularly in my hallway. My hallway is right over there. Right here, when I'm laying in bed, I'll see stuff like zooming through from the hallway into the living room, like boom, 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 boom. But for some reason, it doesn't bother me. Come to find out the other day that my fiance has been seeing me when I am not there. Just the other night, we were playing Call of Duty together. He was in the bedroom, I was in the living room, and I saw something walking the hallway towards the kitchen. I thought it was him. And then I told him about it, and he told me that he just saw me peeking around the corner looking at him in that same exact spot I just showed you. To make it worse, the next day I was here by myself in the living room. I heard his guitar being plucked, and he was just playing it the night before. To make things even weirder, when we first moved in this house, we were both seeing something small and white, like a dog. We both saw it at the same time. We were like, oh, did you see that? Dashing under the coffee table.
My dad and brother experienced a very similar phenomenon to this when they first moved into our house, like the house that my brother and I now own in Georgia. And it freaks me out to this day. It's one of the scariest things I've ever heard of, and this story gave me the same chills that theirs did. I hope they get to the bottom of whatever this thing is, and to me, it sounds like a mimic. Our next video is so freaking creepy, and it's one of my favorites that we're talking about today. It comes from TikToker jayrobiv, and Jay was just hanging out with his friends one night. They're streaming, they're talking about sports. We're not doing a paranormal podcast, we're not doing a ghost hunting podcast, and yet they had an unexpected fifth wheel in this conversation that could not be explained.
I don't know, it might be time for him to go as well. You never really know. So I say you just build off of those people. Was that a ghost?
I just personally... Oh, yo, Junebug, chill out.
Yo, that wasn't even a person. I say you just build off of those people. Was that a ghost?
I just personally... Oh, yo, Junebug, chill out.
You can literally see this person like lagging as they walk through this room, as though the camera is like struggling to pick up the footage of them. Chris also looks over his shoulder, almost like he's noticing something right before Jay calls out like, hey, we just saw something in your camera footage. And I have two kind of problems with this being explained away as just a person. One is that this group seems like they probably stream fairly regularly. They all seem really comfortable. They all have setups for it. Wouldn't someone walking through knowing they might be on camera like say something or excuse themselves or, you know, kind of like almost like duck their head? Like that's my instinct, is if there's a camera and I don't want to be on camera, you know, you duck your head to try to get out of the way. While I guess the lagging thing could just be the webcam not working very well, Chris looks really crisp and clear in this image, and he also has a light source. A lot of webcams are also pretty high tech these days, and that looks like a semi-translucent person. I don't know, y'all. It seems paranormal to me, but what do you think? Side note, I watched the follow-up videos on this, but like Chris seems really freaked out. After it happened, he turned on all the lights in the room and genuinely seemed so weirded out by the whole thing. So take that for what you will.
J-Rob,
J-Rob,
what was this?
What the did y'all see? I'm not playing no more.
Nah, J-Rob, what so you just agreed on?
That look like you might got a ghost, bro.
You guys tagged me in the next TikTok so many times, and it was a response to someone asking the question, what is the creepiest thing your kid has ever said? And this video comes from Caitlin5Kids, who talks about a bizarre experience she had with her daughter's dollhouse.
When my daughter was 3, she came in my room in the middle of the night, woke me up and said, Mommy, can you please get the little girl out of my room? And I'm sleeping. I'm like, what little girl? She's like, the little girl, she's jumping on my bed. She wants to play with me. She won't get out of my room. I'm like, oh, just sleep with me. So she slept with me. The next day, I didn't think anything of it. Then she comes to me and says, I'm so sick of Daddy moving my toys around in my dollhouse. He comes in my room and plays with my dollhouse and moves them all around. I'm like, I highly doubt your father's doing that. He probably banged into it by accident, making your bed or something. This went on for pretty much every morning. Somebody's rearranging my dollhouse. Didn't think anything of it at all. The only reason I thought of it was because one night, me and my husband come in from outside, and our oldest daughter comes and says, oh my gosh, Mom, Dad, the freakiest thing just happened. And we're like, what? And she's like, I came downstairs and Jen was in the kitchen. And then I see her walk by, so I walk to follow her in her room to see if she's okay. And I see her in her bed sleeping. But she was just walking. So I wanted to make sure that she wasn't tricking me. So, you know, I tried to wake her up, but she was sleeping. She wasn't joking. I think I saw a ghost. And I'm like, oh crap. Oh crap, Jennifer said there was a little girl in her room. I wonder, you know. So the next day I say to Jennifer, what does the little girl look like? And she said, she has long blonde hair, blue eyes, and she's white. She looks like me. Okay, because my daughter had long blonde hair, blue eyes. And I said, is she your age? And she said, no, she's younger than me. She's probably 2 or 3. Now my daughter was 4, maybe 4.5. So I'm like, holy crap. So, you know, I'm on the phone with my mom and my sisters, and I'm like, I'm freaking out. And I'm like, what the hell do I do? You know, and my sister reminds me, I trash picked that damn dollhouse, like right when this whole thing started going.
So after the reveal of this, it seems to me that Caitlin really, really believes that there is like something attached to this dollhouse. After all, of course, her daughter is talking about the furniture being moved around, and nobody was experiencing any kind of activity until after the dollhouse was brought into their home. Alarmingly, and I'm unsure why, Caitlin decides to burn the dollhouse in hopes that that will get rid of whatever entity this is that her kids have kind of been seeing. And this results in such a bizarre coincidence. It's absolutely insane.
And then maybe 6 months later, my daughter comes to me and says, oh my gosh, Mom, we burned that little girl's dollhouse, and then she burned our house down because we were living in a hotel because our whole entire house burned down. Coincidence or creepy crawly? I have no idea.
Like, is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard in your entire life? That they burned that dollhouse in hopes of breaking this attachment, and their house burns down? Listen, I know accidents happen, but what the heck are the odds? This next one is from a creator called Lolo. I'll have their username written out because I'm not entirely sure what it is from my screen recording, but I watched part of this, and this one is also super bizarre.
This morning, I experienced an absolutely terrifying glitch in the Matrix.
Her voice is also so sweet.
So I experienced a time travel glitch in the Matrix, and I'm basically going to tell you guys what happened.
Ooh, a time travel glitch.
Last night, I set my alarm for 9:30 this morning. I'm freelance, so I don't have a job that I have to go to. I work from home, I create content, and I make music. And I was like, I'm going to wake up at 9:30. I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. Oh my god. There's a really weird noise coming from outside right now. So I woke up at 9:30. My alarm was going off. My phone is charging next to my bed, always. So I unplugged my phone like usual, set it down on the other side of the bed, and I stopped my alarm. It was a beautiful day outside. There's no one downstairs because there's like a hole in my bedroom. I'll show you.
So I sleep up here. There's like a hole to down.
Oh, that's so cool though. What a cool setup.
So I could hear that there was no one downstairs.
Like I said, the sun was shining. It was beautiful. And I was like, I'm so relaxed. I'm gonna sleep for 5 more minutes. I didn't set an alarm. I never do this. I usually just wake up after 5 minutes. So I
oh my god, what's that like?
Hours, and I can usually tell the time in my dreams, like how long I've been asleep for. And in this particular dream, I was with my partner, and I ended up telling him like I have to go because I have to wake up because it's like 11. It's gonna be like past 11, and I have so much stuff to do today. I can't believe I overslept this much. And I woke up, and I reached over to where my charging place is, and I was like, oh, that's right, my phone's not there. It's on the other side of the bed. So I went to grab my phone, and at first I didn't notice this. But it was dark outside, and there were people downstairs. And I was like, what? Have I slept until later today? So I checked my phone, and it says 7, but not 7 p.m., 7 a.m. And I was like, that can't make any sense because I woke up at 9. It's gotta be like 10:30. And I checked it again and again and again, double checking, and I was like,
that's weird.
And you guys might just think that I was sleepy and I dreamt my alarm going off, but if so, why was my phone on the other side of the bed? In my sleep, I'm really, really still. Honestly, when my friends come over to my house, they think I'm dead. I don't snore, I don't move around, I don't do any of that. So it's impossible for me to have unplugged my phone and moved it in my sleep, which means I must have woken up at 9:30 because also my alarm had not gone off. There was no like alarm setting for anybody I checked. There was nothing. So that means my alarm went off at 9:30. I woke up, I slept until 11:30, and I woke up at 7 a.m.
Oh, that is weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
I forgot about the phone.
The outside was dark, people were downstairs. It was so scary.
That, honest to God, sounds so scary.
Like, I got in a glitch in the Matrix.
That's so interesting. When she was talking about it, I was like, well, yeah, there's obviously the possibility that like maybe you dreamed waking up, but yeah, the alarm wasn't set anymore. So the alarm fully had to have gone off. She would have put her phone on the other side, gone back to sleep for another little nap, and then woke up earlier with the sun not being out anymore is the part that's like tripping me up. I will wake up and have no sense of like what the heck is going on in the world. Like, I'm a very heavy sleeper. I can sleep through anything. My friend Eleanor, when we went to Coachella together like a year or two ago, she recorded an entire series of TikToks of her getting ready in the mornings, and in every single one I was just like dead asleep in the background, just like comatose. Like, I sleep through everything. And I've woken up confused, and I've woken up like not knowing what time it is, and I've had experiences that are weird. But waking up and knowing it's bright outside and then going to sleep and waking up again and it's dark outside and it's earlier than when you woke up the time before has got to be so deeply disorienting, and I don't know what the explanation for that would be. Then I have a TikTok from the user Abigail. Now, I have watched this one because I was tagged so many times, and this is such a truly bizarre story. I really just wanted to share it all with you. It's a bit of a long one, but it's completely worth it because what she experienced and the memory that she has of it is like crazy.
Let me tell you why I don't f slides like this. And no, it's not what you're expecting. It's actually something that you're going to just immediately write off as a conspiracy or a weird dream, whatever. But this actually happened to me, so stay tuned.
Not me. We're not writing anything off as a conspiracy ever.
When I was 5 years old, my dad dropped me off for a choir trip with my children's choir from the church we went to, okay? And it was me and probably 5 other kids as well as our instructors. We loaded up in her Suburban and we drove for a good little while, like long enough that we watched the entire movie because of Winn-Dixie on the little movie screens in her car. We get to this place that is like a children's paradise, okay? Like, it had slides like this. It also had playgrounds just like this. Like, when I saw this picture, I just went, because like this is spot on to like one of the playgrounds that was in this place. Like, I remember so vividly like climbing up this little side right here, going down these slides, all that stuff. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like, what could possibly go wrong in a children's paradise like this with ball pits and slides and arcade games and prizes? Like, what could go wrong here? So during this trip, okay, we get there, we go buck wild, we're running around. And me and this little girl that I was friends with from choir, I've actually tried to remember her name more times than I can tell you, and I do not remember because I was so young. Me and her are running around, and we go to the slides that I showed you in the first clip. We get up to the top of the slides. Me and her both take, like, we go at the same time. Like, I'm on this slide, she's on this slide, okay? We go down the slides, and as soon as I get to the bottom before she does, I turn around to look at her, and all of a sudden, this place went from packed with parents, kids, chaperones, employees, whatever, being loud like I was in the inside of a Walmart, to dead silent, all the lights cut off, and I am the only person to be seen in this place. Like, literally just boom, like went from so loud to just silent. And I think honestly that's why I looked back like, God, like, why did it just get so quiet in here? And as soon as I looked back, that was what was going on. I was completely alone. Like, it was like I went from this reality just to like right here. Like, I was in the same place that I was, but everybody was gone. Oh my God, I walked around this place for like a really long time looking for somebody, like calling out to like the lady that was my choir instructor, like, hello, like, hello. Walked around this place for what felt like hours. And then as quickly as I got upset, okay, I was getting like stressed out, overwhelmed. I started crying. I remember wiping my eyes and boom, I'm right back where I'm supposed to be. It's loud again. My friend never left.
The entire time that she was explaining the story, I was thinking about that one part of Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach where you're in like the playground area and all the lights go out and you have to traverse through it to turn them back on, and it's so freaking scary. This girl literally no-clipped into the back rooms while going down a playground slide, and I truly think there is nothing more terrifying than that. I know kids have huge imaginations, but like, how do you explain that? This video from Yo It's Maddie on TikTok is honestly so creepy. Maddie says that she and her friend Sydney both got phone calls from each other at the exact same time in the middle of the night, along with voicemails. And as you might be able to guess, neither of them called each other.
This morning I woke up to a text message from one of my friends asking me if I was good at 3:20 in the morning, and I was just like, I'm confused because I was asleep. I also had a missed call from her at that same time, so I was thinking maybe she was drinking or, you know, whatever. It was 3 in the morning. And she texted me, she got a missed call from me at the same time. We're in different time zones, so I'm 2 hours ahead of her. Right now I'm visiting family, whatever. And I was just confused because I was asleep. And she said it left a rumbly voicemail of 5 seconds. She was worried I was getting kidnapped. I'm like, huh? And this is her call from me. So 1:20 in the morning is 3:20 here, same time. And I also got a voicemail from her that was 5 seconds long. It's just a beep, and the transcription says hello. So we both got a call from each other at the same time, and we both got a voicemail from each other at the same time, but we never called each other. I was asleep. And has this ever happened? Like, what is going on?
This gives me chills. I've heard of crazy things happening with phone calls with loved ones before, but things like phone calls when somebody is already gone, you know what I mean, that don't make any sense, or voicemails that come after someone has passed. Like, these two girls are very much alive and well, and just got phone calls from each other along with the exact same voicemail in the middle of the night, which is really weird. I honestly have no explanation for that. Maybe somebody knows like a way that that can happen, or ways that I guess like a phone line could glitch like that, but I got nothing, and it really creeps me out, so I pray it never happens to me. Maddie and Sydney, you guys are strong as heck. The next TikTok is from filiseverus, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And the caption reads, my family was at an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina, and our doorbell started ringing at 3 a.m. And you are not ready for how creepy this one is.
There's someone at the door?
Apparently the house is 100 years old and the closest neighbor is well over a mile away. The poster's grandpa searched the property but didn't see anything out of the ordinary, no cars, no people, just the doorbell ringing and ringing and ringing at 3 in the morning. That would have to be it for me in that Airbnb. I'd have to note my way on out of there, but kudos to them because it seems like they stayed. Maybe the house's former residents were partiers and they were trying to wake everyone up for their 3 a.m. shenanigans. Horror with Me watched and in this first TikTok discussed the documentary that came out on Netflix about Malaysian flight MH370. If you're unfamiliar, this is a flight that it's believed to this day, the most popular theory and what people have explained it away as is that this flight went down over the ocean. It's why we never found any remains, etc. But there's a lot of mystery and speculation around it nonetheless. So I'm going to include a little bit of information from Horror with Me's original TikTok just to talk about like what we know about the flight and set some ground rules.
I just finished watching the Netflix documentary MH370 about the Malaysian airplane that vanished without a trace almost 10 years ago on its way from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. On March 8th, 2014, flight MH370 takes off from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on a red-eye flight. At 1:19 a.m., the pilot says, "Good night, Malaysia 370," and completely disappears from the radar. The plane is never heard or seen ever again. So the documentary is 3 episodes, and each episode explores a different theory.
Now, in case you couldn't tell it by the way that I was talking about the first TikTok, that was really just to set you up for our second TikTok, again from HorrorWithMe, in which she talks about some things regarding MH370 that I never knew about. Specifically the fact that there's evidence to suggest that people's cell phones who were on that flight, their phones stayed on for up to 16 hours after the flight had already gone missing. Long after the world had realized that the flight was missing and could not be found, family members of the victims on MH370's calls were still going through to their phones. One woman even got a call from her father, who was on the flight. And I'm gonna let you listen to this TikTok now that explains it more.
So hours after the plane was supposed to land, family members were gathered into a room, and they would try to call their cell phones to see if they would answer or what would happen. So when they tried calling, the phones would just keep ringing instead of going straight to voicemail. Now this is weird because at this point, the planes didn't have enough fuel to be up in the air. And then, like a lot of the theories suggest, that if the plane did crash into the ocean, their cell phones would be going straight to voicemail. It wouldn't be ringing. And we also have to talk about that woman who got the call from her dad. And this was way past the point where, people thought that the plane had crashed already. She got a call from her dad. How would that even be possible? At this point, the plane had already crashed, presumably. How would she have gotten a call from her dad's phone? Yeah, it was unfortunate that she did miss the call. But does anyone else have any theories as to why their cell phones would ring instead of going straight to voicemail? Because to me and to a lot of other people, it just doesn't make sense.
This whole thing just sent a chill down my spine. The entire mystery surrounding Malaysian flight MH370 is one that fascinates me and terrifies me, and it's such an awful tragedy. But so many things about it just don't make sense to me. How did her father call her long after the flight had already gone down? Long after they wouldn't have had any more fuel to fly the plane? I don't know, but it's eerie, to say the absolute least. As I said, it's largely believed that Malaysian Flight 370 crashed into the Indian Ocean, but no remains have ever been found. And there's apparently scientific proof to back this up, which I'm not entirely familiar with. Nonetheless, really, really creepy. Our next video comes from the TikTok poster Repairman67, who starts this off by saying, "We live in a very old house." And I know what you're thinking, standard TikTok haunting, right? Not exactly, because this ghost in particular seems to be quite fond of tricks, card tricks.
I don't even know how to start this off. We live in a very old house, and weird shit happens every once in a while, And there's been 2 other particular incidents very similar that have happened like this in the past. The first time, a playing card shot out from underneath the stove, and it looked like a particularly old playing card. The second time it happened, the same exact thing happened. A different playing card shot out from underneath it, like if somebody threw it out. And now this just shot out from underneath the washing machine. And if you take this picture and you put it in a negative filter, it looks eerily similar to our cat that passed away last year that's buried in the backyard. I don't know how to feel right now.
So playing cards in the house will just shoot out from underneath of appliances and furniture. And it just seems like such a specifically bizarre thing to happen, especially at the end where Repairman talks about how this inverted photo of his cat came shooting out. A cat that they had lost the year before. It definitely sounds like there's some kind of attachment within his house, and I don't know what the purpose of throwing these cards and pictures at him would be. haunting in the form of scrapbooking maybe? Like, here's your supplies, go make my scrapbook for me. I can't, I'm dead. I don't get it. It's the only explanation, the only logical explanation. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this compilation, make sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. The other 50 TikToks are coming later this week. I really hope you enjoy them. Thank you so much for watching today's video. A special thank you to my subscribers who are members of the channel. If you want to join the channel memberships and get extra members exclusive content, including members only videos and more, you can click the little join button somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. And thank you so much to my VIP loves for their continued and generous support of the channel. I love and appreciate you all very, very much. I love you all very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.